Budgeting, bookkeeping, maximizing profits. I'm probably putting you to sleep with these topics, but that's why I, Alizei am running for APSA's Director of Finance to bring more life to this position. My first day at SDSU was a culture shock. As someone who grew up surrounded by many AAPI individuals, this was the first time I had to step out of my comfort zone to find my community. It took some time for me to find my place in APSA, but what helped me the most were these social events, especially the FAM and Mentor-Mentee events. And that's why I, as a prospective finance director, want fundraisers to be more social and activity-based. I want fundraisers to be another stepping stone for GBMers to find their place in our APSA community. I plan to collaborate with the activities and academic coordinators to integrate the FAM and Mentor-Mentee systems with fundraisers. Firstly, FAM and Mentor-Mentee events already draw out more GBMers, so we can use this to increase fundraiser participation. We can also use these one-on-one closer connections to personally invite GBMers to fundraisers instead of just relying on general announcements that they may miss or even ignore. One of my ideas to integrate the FAM system with fundraisers is a FAM Fundraiser Day, where FAMs compete to make the most sales at an in-person fundraiser. This competition is similar to Coin Wars, but it gives GBMers an opportunity to directly interact with their FAMs while still fundraising. If we expand our fundraisers to give GBMers another opportunity for fun and connection, they have more of a reason to participate in our fundraisers, and it'll feel more than just a kind donation to APSA. By innovating our current fundraisers, we can raise plenty of money to sustain and expand APSA's biggest traditional events. Of course, with all this money coming in, we also need to maintain a clean record of our cash flows and budgets. As an accounting major, I've had plenty of practice with bookkeeping and tools such as Excel, Sheets, and Notion. I've also facilitated budgets for events that my friends and family have hosted, finding creative ways to minimize our spendings while still maintaining our desired quality. Additionally, as a counselor for the Student Financial Center, I've refined my financial literacy as I complete various financial forms and examine students' financial bills. Since our office is also composed of nearly 20 different coordinators, just like APSA's board, I've developed clear communication skills to ensure effective teamwork and collaboration as we solve students' problems. These experiences, along with my completion of the Finance Shadows program, have taught me the hard skills I need to fulfill my duties as APSA's next Director of Finance. E-squared, being an HSC FAM head, and capstones have taught me quick, adaptive, critical thinking, teamwork and collaboration, and hospitality to foster a kind and welcoming environment. Soft skills that are necessary to strengthen APSA's executive board. Finance and fundraising don't have to be plain and boring. My name is Alizei, and with my experience, creativity, and innovation, I hope to bring more life to the role of APSA's Director of Finance. Thank you.
Okay. What are the fundraising ideas you have for next year? How will you make it different from previous years, and what are your projects for bigger events?
Okay, so like I said in my speech, I'd like to integrate more FAM and Mentor-Mentee events. So I already talked about the FAM Fundraiser Day, and aside from that, many FAMs already do like food socials for their kind of monthly socials anyway, so I think we could double those as fundraisers as well. And I understand that fundraiser locations typically have an expected like attendance, like attendee participation, and I think as we gauge how active different FAMs are, how many people they tend to bring out to socials, we can figure out, okay, maybe we can collab 2 FAMs to go to this fundraiser location so that we can get enough people to attend and still fundraise and give these FAMs an opportunity to socialize. For mentor-mentees, we can have more bonding experience like we had with the Matcha Mentor-Mentee Night. Just to give more mentors and mentees, to allocate those events for them instead of just relying on mentors and mentees to plan those on their own. We can allocate those events to allow them to socialize and fundraise at the same time.
You talked to a business where fundraising and both sides negotiated to have a certain amount of people showing up. If you don't hit the required amount, you get none of the money. How will you handle the situation?
So first I would just negotiate with this fundraiser location. I would try to compromise, maybe settling for a smaller percentage because anything is better than nothing, of course. Maybe if that small percentage still isn't enough, maybe we could compromise by having another fundraiser there to kind of make up for that loss. And yeah, I would just try to when they have a expected attendance, I would also kind of balance my options between different fundraiser locations, see which one is most feasible depending on our GBM attendance, our social event attendance. I would just try to figure out which one is most feasible for us while still aiming for a high profit.
Okay. And historically, including this year, both finance directors have always worked separately, and it's been a trend for generations. Respectively, working on fundraisers or AS business individually, do you have any ideas on how you can make these efforts more collaborative and efficient?
So as I work with my co-coordinator for finance, I would first ask them, like, what do you believe your strengths and qualities are, and what do you think you could bring to the table for finance? If they believe that they are more strong suited for fundraisers or treasurer, then I would respect that and let them handle most of that, but also not make it mutually exclusive. Like, for example, I would want to make sure that we both know how to do both areas of the fundraise or the finance position. That way, if one of us needs to step down for a little bit, or like maybe one of us is just too busy, we need more help on it, we can still collaborate and it's not just put on one person.
All right, next question. You find out you miscalculated the budget and overspent on an event heavily. What are your solutions to overcome this, and what resources other than fundraisers would you use for the next events?
So I would talk to AS possibly about increasing our funds, our budget. If we've tried all our fundraiser options and that's still not enough, then, well, even before setting this budget, I would make sure that we always have like kind of an emergency fund set aside. And if we really need those funds at that moment, then I will tap into those emergency funds. That's what they're for. And I would just make up for those emergency funds that we lost later on. Yeah.